Sometimes, especially at the holidays, trying to change the high turnover status quo just feels like a big ask. It feels a lot easier just to give in to the current direction that things have been going. So, what should you do? Hello, Difference Maker, and welcome to IDD Leader, the podcast that's all about helping IDD providers retain and grow their DSP workforce using behavioral science. Except today. Wait, what? I am your host, Nate Beers, and usually this podcast aims at your inner Captain America. Or maybe that's overshooting it. It at least aims at your inner Leslie Knope. But maybe you're tired of all this holiday hullabaloo, and you're ready to embrace your inner Grinch, or your inner Ebenezer Scrooge. Bah humbug. Good news, my suddenly indifferent difference maker. This is the holiday special you've been waiting for. If you're ready to throw in the towel and you want to validate the feeling that lowering your turnover rate is impossible, then this trimmed down holiday special edition will give you 7 tried and true strategies that will help you in your quest to keep your retention rate nice and low. Isn't it time instead to give your turnover rate a big boost? Here we go. Number 1, don't have a holiday bonus for all your staff. In fact, better yet, tell them you wish you could give them a holiday bonus, but things have been, quote, extra tight this year. And then consider giving them a very small token gift, such as a company mug, and tell them that this is their holiday bonus instead. Number 2, make the scheduling as disruptive as possible. Pretend your workers and your workforce don't have any personal lives. Instead, prioritize the convenience of the scheduler above everything else, or you can even level this strategy up a bit by communicating as last minute as possible on the scheduling, and that will pretty much ensure that whoever's on call will be getting plenty of calls about open shifts and things that need coverage at the last second. Number 3, act surprised that attendance is down at your day program during the holiday week, and then furlough staff without pay because there's not enough participants in the days right around Christmas and New Year's. But while you're doing this strategy, make sure you keep your day program open so that only some DSPs get to work and get paid. And don't consider planning on this lower attendance by building some financial margin throughout the year or increasing the number of paid holidays for your staff around Christmas. No, keep the dynamic I just described instead. Number 4, don't have any kind of fun contests or fun events. Don't have a room decoration contest, ugly sweater contest, Christmas PJs, fashion show, nothing along these lines. And if there is some kind of event that's scheduled, try to sour it a bit by having any kind of contest be as unfair as possible. You could do this by playing favorites, or if you only communicate to half the staff about it, that should do the trick. And if you're really desperate for how to make things go sour, then what you can do is communicate rules, 2 different sets of rules. One set of rules to half the staff and one set of rules to the other half of the staff. In any case, all of these different methods will ensure that any contests are not very fun. Number 5, create really out-of-touch company traditions. In other words, don't make them meaningful, don't make them fun. Instead of a nice Christmas banquet, give out fruitcakes and figgy pudding, which no one actually eats or enjoys. Instead of having some kind of a themed white elephant gift exchange, you could instead just put together a Christmas party planning committee. And on that committee, put staff who are obviously at odds with each other on the committee. That way they can have a place to play out their conflicts for all to see. Or instead of having a holiday potluck, consider getting McDonald's to cater the event. And if you do have an event like this, make karaoke mandatory. Oh, your introverts are sure to, hit the door. That will keep your turnover rate nice and high. Number 6, instead of looking over your year-end data, such as call-offs or turnover, and instead of trying to use that to assess which areas need extra attention and solutions in the next year, use this tried and true method instead. Ignore it. Avoid the facts. Or at the very least, procrastinate. And then as you're doing this, Blame outside forces for the ongoing struggles that your agency is experiencing. This will protect your ability to bah humbug next year when you're unable to pay the Christmas bonus again. Number 7, and lastly, whatever you do, don't start to answer the top 10 questions that will solve DSP turnover. And to ensure that you don't solve those questions, don't go to iddleader.com/top10, TOPTEN, to download the free PDF that answers those top 10 questions that will solve DSP turnover. In fact, don't get any kind of resources. Don't learn from someone who just helped an organization drop their turnover from 36% to 22% in 1 year, such as yours truly. Don't pay any attention to any of the solutions offered on this podcast, on pretty much every other episode. Instead, just keep doing what you've been doing. Swap out surface level tactics year over year, and then act like you're expecting different results. If you just keep talking about the problem but don't actually commit to changing it, then you will be all set. Oh, and usually we end the episode with an action item. But for today's holiday special, this is completely unnecessary because inaction will lead you to your quest of raising turnover. Okay, enough sarcasm, difference maker. I'm really glad that today's episode doesn't really line up with who you truly are. But in case that small Grinchy part of you needed a little breathing room, well, there you go. You got it in this episode. But to your truer self, difference maker, I say, here's to you. Keep up the amazing work. And keep doing it in spite of that little discouraging voice inside that creeps up from time to time. Happy holidays.